Welcome to another exciting edition of the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm Papergoy, and today we're going to talk about something that I really don't understand why most people don't do it. I know I do it, and I know Mr. Magazine does it. We do things a little bit differently from each other, but we still do it, but most people don't do it, and that's the use of auctions. Most people will go and find items and price them at value, whatever they need to get out of them, maybe a little above value, put best offer, whatever your strategy happens to be. That's what the people do. So they'll go and they'll find a postcard or a magazine or whatever, and it's worth $25. And they'll go and they'll put it at $30 best offer in their store. And they don't do it up for auction to start with. And that's one thing that I don't understand. The cost of auction is, assuming you've got a store, is free if you're in various things such as collectibles, things like that. So a postcard would be absolutely free to list at auction. It'll run you anywhere from 10 cents to I think a quarter, depending upon the size of the store you have. They do give you free listings if you don't have a store, etc., etc., etc. So for me, given that I recently downsized my store, it'll cost me for a magazine 15 cents to list it at auction. Sure, I know it's worth $20, $25, whatever I know that it's worth, but why not list it at auction first? And my thought is you put it up, and you never know, somebody might see it and might not know that they can buy it somewhere else for $25, and they may bid on it. And a second person may come across it and may bid on it. And literally, I only need that to happen once in a great while to reimburse me for the 15 cents that I invested in putting it up for auction. Part two, when you put it up for auction, there are people that search on auctions. There are people that search on newly listed auctions. There are people that search on ending soon auctions. So you get a bump in views because people look at it. Then you put it into your store. There are people that search on newly listed store items. So it ends up getting a lot more exposure by doing it. And the way I look at it is, especially as I saw a lot of the similar items, my listing that Time magazine for the 15-cent cost out of my pocket, it gets viewed when it's first listed as an auction, it gets viewed by people when it's ending as an auction, and it gets viewed by people when it first listed as a buy it now. So that's 3 times that people are seeing it on their search. And if they do click on it, I've got a lot of similar items for sale, other Time magazines. So they click on it, they see a different Time magazine they want, they purchase that. 3 opportunities for people to find my things off of that versus your listing it in the store. You get that bump once. Seems like a pretty wise investment to me, and that's on the things like the magazines where it actually costs me 15 cents. You've got the various collectibles, which don't cost anything to list as auction. You're getting 3 bumps for free. The only downside to it that I can see is there are people who work off of, with their SKU and all that sort of thing, they work off of the eBay item number. Will not work if you do that because they changed the item number. So if that's how you keep track of your inventory, this process will not work for you. But you've got a similar problem if you're working off of that. If somebody buys something and then doesn't pay for it, when you go and you relist it after the unpaid item works its way through, I believe you get a new number anyway. So there are times when you have to alter the number internally as well. But it seems like a small price to pay in order to get that kind of exposure. Now there are people who'll say, well, nobody wants to buy it at auction, I can make the quick sale. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but when you do put things up for auction, there is a little checkbox there where people can make offers on an auction item. And I find that works wonderfully. Now that's something Mr. Magazine never uses and does not use, will not use. I use it on every single auction. Sometimes I'm surprised. I'll put something up that I've looked at and I know it's worth $25 and I put it up and somebody will offer me $30 and I'll take it. Obviously, that's a $25 item. They're offering me $30 because they want me to end the item early. Certainly I'll take that. Let's get it out of here. There are other times where people offer me $20 in that $25 magazine and I look at it and I say, well, I would have taken $20 out of the store for it. So yeah, I'll take the $20 now. There are times when I put something or other up and I've got it at $30 and somebody offers me $15 for it, and I politely decline. And one of the nice things is that I always do is I check and I say, oh, it's got 4 watchers. So then I'll contact the person back and I'll say, it's got 4 watchers on it. Thank you for your offer. I do appreciate it. It's got 4 people watching it. And I've had people come back and make the bid on it because of that. So I think that a lot of people are losing exposure by not listing things as an auction first. And this is talking about collectible items. Obviously, if you've got something or other like, K-cups and things like that, that always seems to be my go-to. K-cup. That always seems to be my what I bring up when I talk about bulk purchases and selling things like that. Replenishables always seems to be K-cups. And somebody drinks an awful lot of coffee. But that being said, you're doing that. There's no reason to put those up for auction. But if you're selling collectibles, you might as well put it up for auction. You get the bump. You get the bump. You get the third bump. You get 3 bumps. And you also can sell it right away if you want to by allowing people to make offers to you on auctions. They can make you an offer on an auction item. So I think that's something other that a lot of you really should look into doing. It works wonderfully for me, and I know Mr. Magazine does it as well. It'll gin up interest in your other items, and it's definitely worth it if you're selling collectibles. So give it a try and let us know how that works out for you.